I'm alive! I have no idea what the levels are like, so I need someone to tell me if I'm destroying their eardrums or I'm whispering. I want it somewhere in between ASMR and destroying your eardrums. In the middle would be great. And let me work out what I wanted to do first. Turn the music down a bit more. And a little more. And maybe that's a bit better. Hopefully that's better. Okay. I'm getting feedback from my producer. Okay, I was going to do one small, simple thing that was just to do with my dot files before I went into Conjure. Which was to improve my file paths in my status line. Also, I swapped to a fuzzy find, and it is much, much nicer. So basically, when I open a file and I get this path down the bottom where it says .config/compton.conf, I want to make that the full path, because I keep getting into situations where I can't see the full thing, and also if I go into a directory, you get this weird nvim/nvim thing, so whatever directory you're in, you get it twice. And somewhere, I did that. I'll make this a little bit small. Somewhere I added that config, and I don't like it. But I cannot remember where. Let's just keep hunting through. None of these. We've got here. It's not going to be any of these, is it? Oh, it could be. In better default. Undo there. No. 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 Oh. The video's not working. Yeah, it was working. Hang on. Properties. That one. Oh, I know what happened. The title of the window has changed. And now it doesn't register it. Oh, that's awful. Oh no. Let me add a desktop instead. Can I do that? Screen capture? Yes. Screen capture. That window. Capture cursor. Yes. And remove the window capture. Yes. Alright, we've got a whole screen now. I'll just move all that over to there. And then I have a whole desktop dedicated to all of this, which is great. Move that over to desktop 5. Cool. That should be a bit better. Yeah, if anything's bad, just tell me in the chat as well. Okay. It's a shame the rain has stopped. It was actually quite nice. It was raining pretty heavily with chillhop on. It was quite relaxing. I need to find out where I've been setting this thing. I just wanted to get this fixed before I went and tried to do Conjure stuff. But I cannot for the life of me remember where it is. Where is it? Oh, file name? What's the? Oh, it is this. Okay. So basically, if I comment that out and say, actually no, use whatever file name thing you want by default. Go a bit bigger. I think your text probably shows up now. Yeah. Let's reboot this line. Oh, now there's no text. Okay, so let me get a window up here. I need to just find out lightline. This should be a default file type one. How do you set the file type? Lightline read only. How do you do this? Actually, okay, let's leave that as it was. And instead, change this expand. So just a %t, I guess. And not do this tail bit, so let's just raise this. Oh. So I can actually just do that. I can just evaluate this thing and it happens live, I think. Pretty sure. Do I have to go out the window and back in? Oh yeah. So if I just do expand %. Ah, look at that. So I can actually get that to change live. I'm just like evaluating the file. Oh, okay. So what would I want for that? What is tail? I just didn't like how this behaved, really. It's kind of nice in that situation, but as soon as you have like a few levels to the path, it's not so good. If I put it on the default and then split like that, see, that works really well already. Like, it's already showing as much of the file as it can. Why would I not want that? That's kind of janky. You don't know what mode you're in unless you know the color, which I do, but so what's tail? Tail is just the last bit. So instead we could just do expand that, get the tail. If it is empty, then no name. And otherwise... Oh, no, I did that. Oh, I added that. That's mine. Ah. So if the tail is nothing, I'm going on what they have in the README. If the tail is nothing, then I want to use no name. If the tail is something, but we are in a small window, just keep it small. Okay. And what happens if I just say expand percent and say expand percent there, or say path is that, and if path is empty, do that. Otherwise, path. How's that behave? So it's the full thing. See, that's fine as well. I'm kind of okay with that. Let's try that for now. I just wanted something a bit more descriptive because I keep getting into situations where I'm like, which file am I in? I have no idea. I might make it smarter one day, but let's make it more descriptive for now. Is this a good... we can make this smarter. We can do better. You get that. And you... oh, no, you don't. No, ignore me. Let's do that. And commit this. I can't type. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do nicely. Cool. Job so good. Alright, now let's go over into Conjure and work out what I wanted to do first. I'll just check that in my to-do stuff. Let's mark that one as done. There was, I mean, my to-do list is 21 items long with 2 things in progress and 11 things on my maybe list and 12 on my probably never list. So there's an infinite list of things I could do. It's picking what I can do right now. There was one that I was kind of interested in, which was an error that Practically pointed out. He pointed out that if you bring up a log, so let's go to, I don't know, Conjure log fennel, and I bring up the HUD, and now try and quit. Oh, it works that way. Okay. He was basically showing me an error where mine doesn't do it. That's really interesting. He got an error where if you did this and you had the HUD open and then you tried to quit, maybe through like just that? No? Oh, how was he doing it then? I don't actually like that no name now at the bottom. I'd rather get rid of that. Oh well. Yeah, how was he doing that? I don't know if I'm going to be able to reproduce this error. Because the response I got from him was that when you tried to close the editor, it would say, oh, the last window remaining is floating. Unless what he was doing was like, B close? No, B close? Is that not a thing? B delete. No, it's fine with that. So win close, maybe? Let's do that. just, how do I close my window? I can't even remember. No, close win? No? Close window, then I can't remember what the command is. Like just specifically a window, I feel like, oh, there's close. Cannot close last window. Oh, okay. Well, that's not really helpful, is it? Huh, I wonder what he did. Because he definitely had this bug. Maybe I will have to chalk this up as cannot reproduce. Sign into Slack. Is Slack going to load? That is the question. It's not looking too healthy right now. Excellent. Doesn't appear to want to load. Actually, all of my Slack tabs have just reloaded at once as well. Cool. Cool. Yeah, Slack might be down. That's interesting. Okay. So what did he say? The error he got was cannot close window, only floating window would remain. Cannot close window, only floating window would remain. E5001. HE5001. I think you can, yeah, cool. It's nice if you see an error code, you can just do H, ask for help for that error code, and it tells you why. So TCD, like CD, but set the current directory for the current tab. Oh, wait, what? That's not the same error. That set the directory for the current tab. That's got nothing to do with closing windows. Cannot close window, only floating window would remain. Cannot close window, only floating window would remain. When in doubt, Google. How do you cause this? Unless this is only in an older version of Neovim or something. Because I think he was on a slightly older version. Close should close floating window if it would be the last one in a tab. He was doing tabs. So let's go tab new and go over to that and do that. Aha! Aha! I have found the bug and it is going to die horrifically. So how do we squish this? So when you're closing a tab, if the HUD is open, it doesn't like it. So the only way to get around this really is to either somehow configure the floating window to be like, I'm okay, you can kill me, that's cool. Which I thought was kind of the case already. Or we somehow hook into... Where's my tab gone with the chat and everything? I'm losing tabs. There we go. We somehow identify that somebody's trying to close this tab and catch it. What happens with ZQ and probably others? If a floating window is the last window in a tab, close and ZQ should close it without error. I have a feeling this only... Oh no, of course I'm reproducing it. It doesn't matter what version of Vim it's in. So this is actually an error. This is an issue in Neovim? If so, I can punt it and just say it's getting fixed upstream. Because otherwise I would need to intercept that somebody wants to close this tab and then go and close the HUD. Which you can do just by moving your cursor and then you can close the tab. So, where's my README? Let's get that open. Oh no, I need the log. Cannot close window, only floating window would remain. Isn't that a shame? Specific problem I was having with close was the situation where I'm in a tab and there's only one non-floating window, i.e. the whole single window is the tab, one floating window. That is exactly the situation I'm in. As I intuit the situation, as I intuit the situation, close should behave the same as tab close in this instance, since the only non-floating window which happened to be a tab would have to be the last one. Therefore, closing the last non-floating window in that tab has the same intent as closing the tab itself, at least to me. Here's a workaround I've been trying. If window height of the current window, because whenever you pass 0 to a function in Neovim or Vim, it generally means my current one, is less than the current lines of the buffer. I think that's what ampersand lines is, -3. So what you're saying there, if the height of this window is less than... wait, that sounds hacky. I'm not sure if I like that. And I'm not in control of what close is being executed. The user is doing this one, which is wrong. I don't want that. So I might just say that's enough investigation. Not my problem. I can't fix this because it's a Neovim bug. What was the final thoughts on this? Close all floats anchored to a window where the window is closed. I don't know. It is anchored to a window actually. Ugh, 9th of May. Any suggestions? I'm all ears as well. I don't think I can fix that one. I think that... oh, that was in 2019 it was opened. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Complexity low. Good first issue. Are you sure? Steps to reproduce this. 7-year close. Okay, I think this is pretty niche. John is the only person I've seen hit it. All you have to do is close the HUD and then you can close it. Or use tab close. Both work. I can't fix this easily without overriding how close works. There's no auto command I can hook into, I don't think, because it's... at least I don't think so, otherwise somebody would have mentioned it as well. Yeah. Okay. That one is going on the won't fix pile for now. I'll make a note about it. Just bring this over into my wall of to-dos. Where's my tab? No, not that one. I want this. Grab that. Ooh. I'm all over the place, sorry. That. That'll do. I won't bother trying to use that window anymore. Okay, that one's done. Something hopefully small. I want to link to the FAQ when I display the no env or language warning. So basically when you're... how can I show this? I don't know if I can prove it. However, I can create... let's get a REPL and then go into the closure sandbox. So I'm connected, I can evaluate the file. This can go off to another tab. So this is there. So I can evaluate this. Cool. We have some closure. So if I list the sessions, you get this text in here. Let's get a little tab open as well. FAQ. Nope. Conjure. This will do. Go to my hideous website and wiki and FAQ. Where is it? This one. What does no env mean? I basically want to link to this. So sometimes you can connect to a REPL and it doesn't recognize what environment it is. I don't know if I can demonstrate that. I don't think I can. But basically when, like in here, if I evaluate that, that actually logged out to here. Yeah, you see info logging. When you have a reader conditional, like this in closure, so I can say, this is closure, and then you could be like COJS, and it's like, this is closure script, and then evaluate the whole form, and it says this is closure. So it's like, depending on what kind of closure you're in, you get a different result. So if you can basically toggle functionality depending on whether your code is running in the browser or running in the server and that sort of thing. And I use that technique to work out what kind of thing you connected to. So that way you can be like, oh, this session is sponsored by David Harrigan. Thanks, David. That way you can say like, this session is closure script and this one is closure, and at a glance you can know like you are cycling through these. I want to be on like session 1 and that one could be closure script, and it would tell you, which is pretty handy. Sometimes you can get into a weird state where none of them return. So I run this and it throws an error or it returns nil and it's completely unexpected. And I think the only place I've seen that is it Babashka. So dev closure bubba not found. Oh no. I'd need to get that from Nix. Let's add Babashka. How do you get Babashka in Nixos? Babashka Nixos. Babashka.nix. Is it unstable? Is my question. Unstable.babashka. Let's sort those. There you go. And home manager switch. This does a bunch of fun things. Hopefully it doesn't crash the stream. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? Just swaps out my entire OS. It does sometimes lock up all of my windows. Like all of my X input just stops working after updating stuff for like 5 seconds, and I have no idea why. Just Nixos things. Oh, you done? You don't? Ooh. Wait, you're not going to build Babashka, are you? No, don't build it. I'm going to kill you if you are. You're actually compiling Babashka. Oh, well, that sucks. Can I not get Babashka without that? Is that really? Like, you have to compile it from source? Oh, I think you do. But this will take forever. It's already going to go and build GraalVM first, and then... Okay. Well, I can't show off the Babashka thing. Let's just go into here. Let's get rid of that. Cool. We will not do that. We will not do that. I will just start up the dev one. This one. Cool. Reconnect. Can't evaluate that. Oh, I can. I accidentally evaluated the entire log, but it's like, oh, I'm fine with it. Don't worry. Which is nice. Okay. So how can I reproduce this? I know how I can reproduce this. I can hack it. Closure and REPLs server, I think. Oh, server fennel. That one. So we're now working in fennel. So we've got multiple logs. I've got like a fennel log, I've got a closure log. One for every occasion. I hope there's nothing in chat. Otherwise, if there is, I'm missing it. Okay, I won't worry about that just yet. If somebody can put something in the chat and let me know it's working, that'd be cool, just in case anyone has questions at any point. So I think it's called session type. It's like, oh, what did past me call it? What kind of dumb name did I come up with? So yeah, we've got it here. So it translates, because we're in fennel land, if you evaluate a keyword looking thing, it's actually string. This is just sugar, which is fine. So we have closure, closure script, closure, and unknown. Sorry, closure CLR and unknown. I don't know of anyone using the CLR, but I guess if you're using like Arcadia, that means you can use Clojure with Unity, and that would be on the CLR. Yeah. And then there's unknown, which is oh, you can see it here. This is how I map them. So this is I build this expression of Clojure, which I think I can evaluate that. Yeah, which ends up being that string. Hey, it works. Thank you, Nina. Yeah, so that builds that string. That string goes off and gets evaluated. We send that off for evaluation. Then we collect all the responses, which could be like a few standard outs and stuff, because when I send a message for evaluation, I get like a bunch back. So I said with all messages function, which through a series of like Rube Goldberg machines ends up collecting all the messages relevant to this evaluation. It's, yeah, kind of hard to follow, but the abstraction works okay. I could have probably made it a bit of a thicker abstraction, but this way it gives me a lot of flexibility, which is nice. So I then call a callback with the results. That callback is... Oh, that could be anything. Yeah, so somebody passes in a callback so that you can do whatever you want with it, which is nice. And then what things tend to do, at least when I display it in the log, let's get a little closure buffer open. Sandbox, this one. Let's make this nice and small. So when I do SL in here, or comma SL, it lists the sessions and with an uppercase C on that closure, which is nice and pretty. Which you can see here. That's where that conversion happens. So the thing I want to handle is when you get this once, then it will decide to link you to the FAQ and explain what on earth that means. I was kind of debating how best to do that. Either the Neovim itself has like a short link in here, like bit.ly or whatever, although bit.ly is kind of creepy. So maybe git.io, that's a thing. Or even like, oops. Like, that could be good, maybe. Conjure.fun/FAQ. Thing I want to know though is, where is this used? Enrich session ID. Yeah, so I've got this enrich function that most people call. Sometimes you don't need it enriched. Sometimes you're only interested in this information for something programmatic. And a lot of the time you're interested in using it in a UI. So it's kind of like the enrichment takes a bit of extra work, so I don't do that all the time. So the pretty session type goes into here. And I kind of want to say at some point, what would it be? There's a thing that will print out all sessions, which will be used, assume or create session. Where is it? Display sessions? I think there's a display session somewhere. Display sessions? Aha, here it is. So I'm thinking of saying, I go at this level, at the UI level, so that nobody else has to worry about it, because it is kind of a UI concern. It's a UI UX concern. So we got UI.display sessions. So we go in here, display sessions. So we got display sessions. I could actually, let's do a.println, Pringles? Println sessions. I'm trying to remember, did I call it println? I did. It's a good way to check if a function is defined, like comma EW. Will evaluate the word under the cursor, which tells me that there is a function here. So I know it's a real one. So now that I'm printing that, if I go, hey, list my sessions in here, did it not come out? Oh, there it is. Yeah, so it ended up in Vim's messages. So that square bracket, curly brace, all that stuff. So I know that there is a type of CLJ. Cool. So what was the type if it is not known? That was in server. Enrich. Is it enrich? our pretty session type. So if it's a string, right, so basically I've got like get will get the session type out of this map. So if I say pretty session type, this is the beauty of live evaluation. If the session type is COJ, you see COJ gets COJ out of here, which is this, which is closure. I'm going to sneeze. Ah, survived. So if it's something that it doesn't recognize, oh no, what am I? Make it stop. It ends up just putting a question mark on the end because it's just like, it might be useful. I don't want to hide this information from you. It could be useful in your context. Thank you. It could be useful in your context, so I don't want to remove that information. So I put that on there. If it's not a string, if it's anything else, I say no env. So let's say it's a vector or a table, as it is in Lua, with oh no in it. Evaluate the root form, we get no env. Cool. That's great. So what's the better way to say that? What's the better way to say that? What does my docs say? Let's go to my docs. What does no env mean in the log when connecting to a closure n REPL? This means the REPL doesn't know which language we're in when Conjure asked it via reader conditionals. So it sends this and then it uses the... I think I might just put it in line. What's a good URL shortener? Oh, you know what? You know what? I've got a better idea, everyone. All 2, possibly 3 of you. How about I go into my Cloudflare, and what I'm going to do is just to make this even easier, because we've got to hack some things sometimes. I can't do everything right. Conjure.fun/noenv. Is that bad? Is that bad? Oh, I don't know. I can look at what that looks like by saying yank an element, paste that there, evaluate that, go in here, session list. Wait, did that work? Yeah, there you go. So it come out like that, and I can actually click it. Oh wait, no, not like that. Session list. Control Shift click. Yes, and that tries to open a tab. Kinda like that. If I actually remove the HTTPS, the terminals pick it up as a URL. I don't think they will. If I put, oh, that didn't work. It's almost like I have to do it twice. You evaluated now? No? Why not? Evaluate this one? No? Oh. Doesn't want to evaluate. Huh. It's weird that it worked one time. Reconnect. Really doesn't want to do it, does it? Oh. Ugh. It was working. The problem was between the computer and chat. Okay, so my terminal at least doesn't pick that up as URL. I don't think... I want to make it clickable in your terminal. So let's say it's that. I know it's like not super descriptive here, but it should be rare that it ever occurs. And if it does occur, I want to be like, I don't want to explain it in this text box. I want to display it in the FAQ. So I think I will go and drop this in my Cloudflare. Because this is how I've been doing my redirects. Log in. What time is it? Got forever. So conjure.fun. I think no -env. I think that's good enough. Yeah, I think that's good enough. So let's go set a page rule. I know you can't see this, but still over it. Create page rule. Example. Wait, is it just the domain? Yeah. Oh, no, 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 no. There we go. Conjure.fun/noenv. Pick a setting. I think it's permanently moved. I want a 301 forwarding URL. Yeah, permanent redirect 301 destination is my massive long FAQ URL. Save and deploy. It's really good, this stuff. Yep, 301 permanent redirect. Cool. So I click this now. Not working yet. Should do. Hey, it works. So if you go to conjure.fun/noenv now, it takes you to the FAQ with information on it. I think that's good enough. Let's not dwell on very, very small things. Let's improve it and move on. So I'm going to take that. That's good enough. It describes itself, right? This one, hopefully, the thing you would see, this ST, it's a string. We don't know what it is. It's unrecognized. It could be an error. It could be information. So I don't want to hide it from the user. And if somebody hits this, I don't think anyone ever has, but if somebody hits this, I want them to copy and paste it and send it to me and say, hey, I got this weird thing, and I'll get the error. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, I can work out what went wrong there. Whereas, yeah, if I just kind of hit it and went like unknown, then suddenly I need logging, and I need to be like, oh, can you reproduce the error and get the logging because I have no idea what happened? And this shouldn't happen. I don't think this can happen. But I put it in as sort of a measure of like, well, I have a string I didn't expect. I might as well show it, and maybe some good will come out of it. And then this one, again, it's like if you've broken your environment slightly, this can occur. And I'd rather link you to some actual information than just kind of say, it's broken, good luck. I mean, the end, when you click the URL, you do kind of get a message that says, it's broken, good luck. But it's a bit more informative. Still not perfect. Let's make that. When I run make, it does everything. So you can see in my diff now, the lure and the fennel are changed at the same time. So let's make that into a commit. I won't say broken. Oops. Okay. Jobs are good. I won't push that yet because it will generate like 10 notifications as all of my tests run, of which I have a few. Although actually, you saw the tests run here, they're just really fast. So 34, so it ran 34 tests with 120 assertions. So make test. It's pretty quick. And that launches Neovim and does a bunch of stuff. And like if I go into Aniseed as well, it's Aniseed's testing tools. Make test. 154 assertions. Like it's fast. I like it. And this all runs in CI. So it actually launches Neovim in CI and does a bunch of poking around with buffers and things. And it's pretty robust. I haven't hit any issues with it yet. Or that I'm aware of. So what other things do I have here right now? There are so many, including make the website good, because it is not good right now. It is the minimum amount of links to get you to the place you probably want to be. I'd quite like to do this one, auto connect to closure port file on a val. To explain that one slightly, if I go disconnect, if I come into here and I try an eval, it goes like no connection, which isn't very helpful because it's just kind of like, you did a bad thing, you're doing it wrong, without helping, which isn't fantastic. So my thinking was, and the thinking of a few people in the chat was, if you do that and there's no connection, so I try and evaluate something, no connection, it basically just tries to connect to a file. I've still got that. I need to evaluate the thing. What was it? Closure. I love this thing on the right as well. The preview window. It is nice. What was it? Action? No, server. Closure server. And then go back to sandbox. Hey, we're back. We are in our pointer session. Oops. And it is closure. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. So, I want to essentially know when somebody's tried to do an eval, but there is no connection yet. And I think I remember from when I last looked at this, there's like this weird situation that made it hard to implement. I thought it would be like really, really simple, but obviously some decision I made, I think it was that how I'd organize my files. So like that there was something in action that wanted something in server, and it was like it would make it cyclic. So I'd have to refactor a bunch of code and move stuff around to make the functions I need accessible in the rep modules. Which is why I didn't just do it straight away, because I was like, ugh, I have to refactor this, and it's a lot of code change, and I could break things, and I don't want to break things. It's a chunky function. This handles all the incoming and REPL messages, passes them in a stateful way, and dispatches them into the right places, handling a bunch of other cases as well. Could have been worse, to be honest. It's doing quite a bit. And for an mREPL implementation, it's quite small. Okay. So where was it? The thing I'm interested in is when I connect, no. When I'm disconnected and I evaluate, I get no connection, which is here. So with con or 1. So anyone that wants a connection has to kind of like, anyone that wants access to the connection has to go through this function. So I have a central point that says, I would like access to the connection right now, please. If it's not there, it warns, which is nice. So what I was thinking was that, I'm trying to refresh my brain here, I'm thinking back to weeks ago, before I spent a week on a boat. With con or warn would essentially try to get the connection. So like, I don't have a connection right now. I love that I can do this, right? I can just say, hey, what's the connection? And it's like, there isn't one. And then if I go into the sandbox and I connect, and then over here I say, give me the connection. Hey, look, here's the connection. Here's all of the nREPL information. So the response of the describe endpoint is this whole thing. So I can see what version of Clojure you're on. I can see Java, nREPL, like, oh, I'm on 0.8. Would you look at that? And all of the capabilities which I use to feature flag. So this is how I check whether you have certain capabilities. Because Cider adds a bunch, and mREPL 0.8 adds some. So these ops, this list is really useful for knowing like, what can I do? I don't base any feature flagging on what version you're on. I base it on what capabilities do you have? What operations can I send to the server? Which works quite well. So yeah, I can see the whole connection here. I can dump that here. I can see the socket even, so I could go in and do stuff to that socket. So I try and get a connection. If it's there, then if I have the connection, call the function, call the callback. Even though it's instantaneous, it's not an async callback. It's kind of handing the control off. It's handing the control flow off to this function and saying, hey, you get to decide whether we continue or not. So if I want to continue, I call this function. If I don't want to continue, I go and have a moan. What's nice about this is that this could be asynchronous. So I could say, actually, I'm going to go and try and make a connection now, and that's going to take me some amount of time. And depending on the outcome of that, I may or may not call you. If the connection fails, I'm going to warn again. I'm going to be like, oh, still no connection. I tried. If the connection succeeds, I'm going to call you, which could have some other complexities around it, but I don't need to get into that right now. We will see those as bugs as and when I cause them. Water break. And phone break. Okay. How could I do this? I think the problem was that this is in server. However, connect port file. Pot file, that's not the same one. Connect port file is in action. And action depends on server. Which means I cannot have server depend on action. Because that would be cyclic. And you do not want a cyclic dependency. They will keep you up at night. So this is where I got to this point and went, oh no, I need to reorganize things. And I stopped. And now I want to stop again, but I won't. I will power through for the 3 people on the planet that really want this feature. Which includes me. I want this feature. So how could I do this? How could I connect port file? Something I could do would be on the way in. So rather than doing it here with Conjure 1, I could say if a user tries to initiate an action, so let's flip this around, because this is kind of like higher level namespace, this is a lower level namespace module. So I could flip this around and I could say when the user wants to, I don't know, evaluate a form, eval stir? So when a user wants to evaluate something, I could then say, well, if I don't have a connection, like you could be like try connect port file and just do that every time the user tries to do something. The only thing I don't like about that is that I kind of have to do that everywhere. So I'd have to do that here, presumably. If you were like you went into a file and you went not server, sandbox. If I went into here and I was like, hey, what's the documentation for deafen? Cool, I get the documentation. That's great. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. But what if you didn't have a connection? It's just going to go, no connection, good luck. And I don't want that. I want this to... Oh, wow, something locked up. I want this to also say... I have made a connection for you. So how do we do that? How many places would it be in first? So option 1 is like do it in with Conjure 1, which could require a lot of refactoring, or it would require a lot of refactoring. The other option is do it at kind of the action level, at the user initiated action level. So I want to go to definition. I want to interrupt an eval. I want to evaluate the file. Like you see, there's quite a few, and I don't want to do it for all of them. View source, clone current session, display sessions, like all of these. There's too many. There's too many. It would be icky. So what I want is to do it at this point, where I've already architected everything to lean on this function. This function is already a fulcrum. The only thing I'm slightly concerned with, it's not a big concern. There could be some weird stuff. So right now this function is called immediately. So it will either be called immediately or it will not be called at all. These changes, connect port file, if this was async in any way, which I don't know if it is, maybe it's not, maybe it's fully synchronous. I think it's synchronous, I think we're okay. What I was worried about is that I'd be introducing asynchronicity sometimes, which could lead to really weird bugs where like somebody who's calling this assumes that it will be synchronous and they're relying on the blocking nature. And if suddenly like sometimes it was asynchronous, that would be bug city population me forever. So I will not be doing that. Put some socks on. Oh. That poor programmer circulation. Alright, so I think I refactor this, or look at what it would take to refactor this. What does it want? Either this moves up into action, which I don't think I want, I think this makes sense to have it in server. So action is kind of like user-initiated things. It ties together a bunch of different things. So it's usually what you map to. So the mappings in the init module call through to actions like that. So Conjure client, closure, and REPL action, out, unsubscribe. These actions then tie together a bunch of other things like state and config and calling through to stuff to have it happen. They're mostly glue code. And as it's glue code, it shouldn't be the one worrying about connections. So what does that leave me with? That means who wants connect port file? It's wanted here. Cool. It's wanted presumably here. Yep. So a couple of places there. On load, I'd call it. So that's when the module loads, when the closure kind of plugin for Conjure loads, it calls this. It also gets called when you do the mapping, which is connect port file, and I can actually inspect that. I can just say, hey, what's the connect port file mapping right now? Oh, it's CF. And this mapping.buff thing is already configured to use Conjure's default prefix. So there's some, you can kind of inspect what it's doing here. And these are all strings, so they're actually like building strings to be executed at some later date, because mapping between Viml stuff into Lua functions is a bundle of fun, and I've tried to pave over it as much as I could. But it could be a lot smoother, and it will be smoother in future Neovim versions, which is cool. So we know it's used in init, we know it's used in action. Is it used anywhere else? Nope, state is here. State is a fun one. I have a whole state system that allows you to split your state depending on which directory you're in and that sort of thing. Completely up to you how you do that, and I'll write some blog posts on that at some point. Like clever ways you can use my state tooling to have like n connections, and as you cd change directory in Neovim, it just connects to the right thing. Well, actually, all connections are maintained. There's some fun stuff in there. So I'm stalling because I don't want to do it. Let's sketch it. I haven't got any other changes right now, right? Oh, I do. Oh. Where did I put that? Let's get rid of that. So connect port file. Let's grab that. Let's grab like down to there, just so there's no new lines. We would want it in here, right? Theoretically, we would want it in here. What does it want? So it wants server.connect. So that's the connect inside here. That's that one. Cool. So if we wanted to call that connect function, we kind of need to define it ahead of time. So it's just like, wait, is that used? Is that exported? Yeah, it's exported. I think this will define it ahead of time. I think that's okay. This is my own module system and my own def system, and I'm still like, I don't know if it works like that. Oh shit. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, I just broke everything. I'll have to restart any of them. I just disabled... What did I? No. Oh. Oh, okay. CFG. Okay, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. So I need to basically... I need to copy over a few things. So like this would need to come over. So what it'll take. FS. I want FS over there, which is only used by that. So let's take my little FS module over. Compiler passive ns require. Ooh. Okay. So these would all have to move as well. This is why I didn't do it. I was like, I started pulling on the thread and the entire jumper unraveled in front of me. And I'm not sure if moving all these is the right thing. Maybe I need a third namespace, you know? Maybe I need a third namespace. Or would it still be cyclic? I'm only considering a a third namespace because I could group up everything to do with connections. If there's a lot of clever like connection management, so connecting by port file and connecting by host and port from the command line and all these things, perhaps I'd benefit from a separate module that just dealt with that, which also got around this sort of like cyclic dependency problem. What do we do? What do we do? I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss. I'm mulling it over because part of me doesn't want to split this function and this function up. I don't like that they're apart. I feel like they are super relevant to each other. Actually, well, saying that, wait, do you depend on anything? You depend on disconnect. Okay, never mind. This actually does connect by host and port. So really this can be seen as a wrapper. So what could that mean? How can I break this dependency? Oh, how can I do it? How can I do it? There's something here. I can feel it. Because this is kind of fun. Like, I mean, if I had all the code here in passive... if I comment this out, is that enough to get it to load? Yeah, it is. So when I evaluate this, this form says, get me the list of port files from the config, map them through fs resolve above, which essentially says, try to find this file, so each of these files, in my directory or every directory above me. And if you can find one, then give me that full path, which is great because it's if you're in a deeper directory somewhere in a project, it will pick up the mREPL port file in like a parent file, in a parent directory, like the root of your project. And then it will slurp them up. It will take the first, so sum will take the first thing that resolves to a truthy value. So if you give slurp nil, it just returns nil, I think. So we can test that. A.slurp. Oh, that explodes. How about that? Oh, so I'm actually relying on that being an empty string. That's not good. I should really like a.filter or something. That's a concern for a different day. This works, but it's arguable. Might not like that. So a.sum, a.slurp. So we get the first one we can load, and then we pass it as a number, which gives us that. How much code is actually in here? Could this be done differently? Could connect port file work differently? I'm kind of thinking like, could I have some sort of lower implementation, lower down implementation in here? Oops. And then have a higher up one in the action one. I just want to get something that works and then I can tweak it. I don't like this change so far. What's ops in this case? No, that'd be too much. Ow. So what does it want? It wants passive ns require. Okay, Let's play it out. Let's play it out. Oh, and passive NS require wants server with Connor Warn. Oh no! Oh no! We don't want that at all. Oh no, we don't want that at all. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay, I'm beginning to form a plan. I'm beginning to form a cunning plan. Passive NS require. Do I want that? I'm kind of thinking, because you can't read my mind, I hope. That this thing, so this kind of like extracting the port number, should actually go out into its own module, and that way I'd basically in here I would re-implement. I'd implement it in here in a slightly different way because it wouldn't do log.append and it also wouldn't do passive NS require unless it did something similar. I could do a sort of similar. When config eval auto require silent true. I definitely don't want to be calling this because this is going to get recursive very quickly. So let's put this code back where it was. This is all back how it was. I think make another file. I think I make another file. And I move some things there, but not everything. I'm worried it's going to end up being like a diamond dependency problem, if that makes sense. Which I do not want. I picked probably one of the hardest things in my list to tackle, but it's also one of the most sought after features. So if I do that, if I move that, it means that action will require this magical file, this magical module. So will server. Server requires action. As long as it doesn't depend on either of them, it should be okay. Yeah, that'll be okay. That'll be okay. So what do I call this? I think we call this... Is it ports? Is it connections? Is it... Oh, naming things is hard. Because essentially all it's going to do is get the current port file's value, if we can find one. Let's do port file. Port file.fennel. It's very specific, but it'll do. So let's name this module. Port file. It needs FS. Oh, it's not required like that. It's like that. Get mixed up between closure and fennel. Parse error. Why is it parse error? Don't give me that. Oh, yeah. No, it's right. It is extremely right. Cool. So we've got that. It's going to have, say, like, read? Slurp? Read? Read. Load. I'm going to go with slurp. It's going to be another slurp. So we're going to take the config. It now, so as long as we have connect port file here and connect port file here, this doesn't rely on connect anymore. I don't think. Maybe it does. Maybe it does. And then this is going to require it's not going to do this. It's going to be a when port. Hang on, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Let's commit that out. Do we do this? The best way to solve a problem is comment it out and put to do on it, and then it's a problem for future you. And this thing is going to move, so we're going to have, let's copy this because I'm lazy. Port file, find you, port file, and look, I'm actually typing code now. I've been sitting here staring at it for like an hour. So we can get this port, which you only used once? No, you used there. Okay. It's going to be what? Port file dot slurp. Cool. Come in here. Do that. This needs CFG. It needs A. It needs aniseed. Aniseed.core. Grab that. Put that in there. Anything you need. So it needs FS. It needs CFG. CFG comes from config. Let's grab that. Just find all my dependencies. Can you imagine if I had linting? Wouldn't that be great? And then it's just like slurp. Make sure that works. It works! Oh, look at that. So we've got a module now that just does that. Which I know is small, but FS is only used by that thing. So let's replace that with same thing. Do that. This becomes port file.slap. So this one doesn't connect with everything. I'm happy with this duplication. Like it's duplicating this bit and allowing us to configure what we want to do otherwise and how we want to call it. Because I think this passive NS require might not happen, or it might be different. I'm okay with that trade-off, you know. At some point I'm going to need to go through and make sure that like what ones of these aren't used. Oh yeah, to write my own linked list implementation. That was fun. At some point I'm going to have to go through and find all of the things that are not used. But today is not that day. Oh, this Conjure client. Okay. I was like, why is this so much longer than this one? It's because the name's longer. Clever old me, eh? So we do want connect. Got connect port file in both of these. This one is like simpler. And you kind of want this one to, you almost don't want that. You almost want to be like, if we don't have a connection, you want to do it in here and say like, can we get a port? And then say, yeah, why not make it one thing, you know? Why not? Somebody stop me. So if port, you want to do that. And then you kind of want to optionally go and do something else as well. How's that going to work? And also you don't know if the connection worked. So you almost want to call this again, like you want to do the same check again. Which sucks. You could say if port and connect. So if connect returned like true or false. Oh, that could work. What does connect return right now? Returns like everything. If connect returned the connection, maybe? Getting notifications. Oh, it's Disney Plus. How sad. Soch in state. So get the state. Soch in con that. So if I say let con be that, and then slurp that, and put all those in one line, and then return con. So when you connect, you either get a connection. No, you don't know whether it worked or not. No, you don't know whether it worked. That's kind of okay though. We'll see how that plays out. We'll see how that plays out. Alright, 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 alright. If port, then connect. And then when you're done connecting, do a fcon again. See, this is, so I'm gonna have to rearrange this logic completely because you kind of want to re-let this. Yeah, this is wrong. There's things I want need to change here, but is that used anymore? Yes, it is. It's used there. Let's do a new tab as well. So let's go here and do sandbox. What happens if I try and evaluate something? Disconnect, then do that. Oh, yay! Attempt to call up value connect 0. So that attempted to call a nil, essentially. That's because I'm referring to this and it is nil and it counts as a up value. I'm not sure what that means. Just lower things, basically. So I can't do that. I can't like predefine connect. I think if I do that, it will work for now. Yeah, you see that worked. Okay, so let's disconnect everything, clear the log. Look at that. So I had no connection. I did an eval. It said I've connected. So the eval happened, then the connection happened, then the result, and then it said what session it had. Whew. Fun times. That's quite interesting. That is quite interesting. So the downsides of this would be, well, we're not doing this. Passive NS require isn't happening. We've essentially duplicated a chunk of code here. Not much at all, but we've duplicated the behavior of connecting to a port file. I'm kind of okay with that because it is so small. Extracted this bit out, which is very opinionated and like there's UX behind how this works and config behind how this works. That part's all abstracted away, which is nice. So the only thing that you have to do yourself, you do that bit, you call it, and then you have to go and do your connect yourself. The only thing I don't like is that you have to do this passive NS require. Now I could move that. That's actually okay to move. Yeah, you know what? You know what? You know what? It's going. It's going over. So this has to be that. We've got require NS. This now becomes server. Oh no, I did it wrong. Server dot require NS. So I'm gonna update all these. I still need to find a way around that this wants connect and connectors are defined yet. I don't think that's gonna work very well. I'll try and think of a way around that. I'm sure I'll come up with something. Even if it's some indirection in a map, I might do that. Yeah, I've thought of some nice hacks for that. And by nice, I mean horrendous, but you know, you get what I mean. So passive NS require, these are all now in server. Hey, look, I'm removing the duplication. Would you look at that? Okay, so they're all here. NS require, so there's a passive NS require. This is actually now in server. Have I got server included? I do not. So let's go grab server. Yep, so we've got server in here now. NS require. I know I'm flying all over the place, but oh, only once? Really? Huh. Maybe it was this that's used in a lot of places. So there's only one passive NS require call there. Okay. And this, what this does is essentially say, as you enter a file, it ensures that namespace is required already. So it's quite like, it's quite simple. It doesn't do much. And I think every like CIDR, like Emacs CIDR eval will send the whole namespace form or something like that. So I'm just kind of like, I'm finding other way. I'm doing equivalents to that. I'm making sure that you don't get into these weird chicken and egg scenarios where you can't define the namespace because the namespace isn't defined. And by doing this sort of like passive requiring it gets around a few issues. And it also gets around the issue of you enter a file, you go to eval something, like I could jump into this file for the first time if it was closure, and I go to like evaluate this, or I go to evaluate a comment that calls require NS or whatever, and it will go, it's not defined. This whole namespace isn't loaded, so it makes sure namespaces you're looking at are loaded. That is configurable and you can turn that off. But by default, I think it's a safe enough thing. It doesn't run the whole file. I suppose it will if it requires it, but hopefully that's safe. Might not be a good default, to be honest. Okay, so we've got passive NS require. I need to not detour. We've got action. NS require. Let's just make sure that all the ones in action point to all the ones in server. Server passive, server passive, server passive, server passive, server passive. Yep, it's looking good. Any other ones? None in here. None in here. So now we're down to just server. Require NS equals server.eval. Eval is down here. So we've got another cyclic thing here. With con or warn. Oh. Oh, my head. Ow. Ow. What I'm worried about is this will just keep going forever. So I can do that, but this could go forever. And I can tell you now, that is not good. I could say if you're on the second level of with con or warn, you don't recur any further, but that's kind of a hack. How interesting. So I don't like this. I don't mind this. I don't like this. That's what I'm doing. So if there's no port, then do that. Okay, slight difference here. When port, do that. Yeah, and then let con be, you kind of repeat the same code again. Oh, could this be it? When con, what's ops used for? Oh, you have an else function. Forgot about that. Passive NS require could take options. Okay. Okay. How about this? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So what I'm thinking is I can set a flag on recursive calls. So basically I can kind of be a bit willy-nilly with it and like call this whenever I need to, which is what I want to do. I want to call it from a few places, but the call stacks, they can get muddled. And I don't want to risk any bugs. So if I had a hard stop on it, so I was like, I can call this from anywhere. I don't have to worry about it. I can call it from anywhere in the code. I don't have to like worry about who's calling when and why. But I know it's always safe. So you can always have the benefit and you don't have to worry about the trade-offs. That could be fun. So we've got if con. This actually becomes different. This actually becomes when not con. Okay. going to be a bit of refactoring here. I could get down a rabbit hole and get stuck and then be like, I can't undo. Let port, when port, connect. And you let con again. That. Yeah. Okay, that's just that form. That actually goes away. That goes away. Okay, so now it's, do I have a connection? If I don't, I'm going to try and connect. And then I'll do it again. I'll check again. I'll be like, do I have a connection? If I have a connection, then just call this with it. If not, I'm going to say no connection. The only danger here is that passive ns require is called. So you could say when not con and not ops dot, or you actually have to say and ops, or say local ops or ops. That basically this trick gets around people not providing ops and it being nil, which Lua doesn't like. If not ops, nested. How about that? So when we don't have a connection and we're not nesting right now, then do that. And then basically when I call passive ns require, let's wrap this up and say nested through. All right, this might not explode. This could be good. Okay, can I understand this? I can evaluate this file. Can I open a new Neovim? That's another question. If I go into here and I literally try and open another Neovim, does it break? Or just make everything? Can I compile it? I cannot. Oh no. Conjure client closure and REPL server not found. Okay, why not? Let's get debugging. I'm presuming it's because server won't compile. Server won't compile, therefore action can't compile because it can't find server. So I bet if you cat Lua Conjure server, yeah, it's not there. Oh, client closure and REPL server isn't there. All right, that's fine. That's kind of expected. So that's because server is saying, hey, I want eval, and eval is defined down here. How about this? Somebody stop me. So I need eval, so I'm going to pre-def eval. I've never actually encountered this problem before. This is the first time I tried to think of a workaround. And yeah, this will be fine. This will be good. What else do I need? With Connor warn. Oh, really? Oh, that's cyclic as well. Oh, no. Oh, I hate it. Oh, no. That's fine. Extract. You in here? Oh, it is. Yeah. So extract.context actually reads this bit. It goes and finds that through a series of sacrifices and black magic rituals. And that works in a bunch of different languages, which is fun. What else? So this connect. So this now is pre-def.connect. I will probably have to think of a better way around some of this, but it's kind of like get it working, get it right is what I'm going for. So passive ns require, port file.slurp. These are all good. We've got all this pre-def stuff. So what do we want in pre-def? We want with con or warn. I'm just going to put these in as documentation. Eval was one of them. And then I'll fill these in basically as they get defined. It's not the best, but it will do. And connect. All right, So get this pre-def thing, they all refer to that. That might make it compile now, but error? Ha ha ha! Ha, you thought you could beat me, code. You were wrong. So it's because all these were designed in a different namespace, they never assumed they would be cyclic like this. So untangling them later could be fun, but once I get it compiling, I'll have an easier time with that. So now let's go, am I setting nested? Yeah. Let's go and set these in here. So basically here, set pre-def.withConnor_warn to withConnor_warn. So every time I evaluate the file, that's then assigned to that function. Do I want to do it like that? And also what happens when I evaluate that? Oh, I get nil. Oh, that's a shame. Meh. That'll do. Let's do it down the bottom of the file. It says that one. Oh, a.merge predef with with con or warn with con or warn. Eval is eval and connect is connect. There you go. Oh, actually, ooh. Yeah, I've got to be careful with that. I feel like if it's the last thing in the module, it might end up doing some weird things with Lua. But we'll see. Make. Let's go have a look. Sandbox. You don't want to run. Attempt to call field passive ns require a nil value. Passive ns require. Server.passive ns require. Server. This one? No? I wonder what's going on with this one. What's the error? Always read your error. That's in log.lua. Error while calling Lua chunk. NREPL init. Oh, okay. Nil passive ns require. Server.passive ns require. Server passive ns require. CFG. Oh. Ha. Oh, well, that's silly. So if I just grab this, and I grab this, and I put this in here. You happy then? Is that all it wanted? Config is in here. Yeah, I think it's all it wanted. Make. No, next one. Attempt to call a field, passive ns require nil value. So let's go to server again. Can be loaded. Oh, no. NREPL server. Can be loaded, but I think this is causing issues. There's some fun interplay between Lua and everything else going on here. No, with con or warn. Okay, that's different. Oh, I used that all over the place. Oh no. With con or warn. You're defined. Okay. With con or warn. You're okay, you're referring to it. Should be fine. My question would be... Oh. No, you're using the pre-def one, which isn't defined. Ooh. Is it now? Have I spelled that wrong? With con or one? With con or one? With con or one? Huh? Alright. It's getting desperate. I don't know why that has to be that way, but apparently it does. Why would that have to be that way? Let's give it a go. Ooh. Oh, wow. Oh no, it connected twice? I mean, yay, we can eval, but... Oh no. So, if I disconnect and then eval... Hey, it works, but... Okay, this is progress, this is progress. So... Not that one, not that one, not that one. Let's make sure this is all loaded. Oh no. Did I just... Oh good, it loaded when I went into this buffer. Ah, phew. I thought it just overwrote my changes. Okay, now that we know this works, let's do that. Let's go back in, let's go sandbox, let's make sure this works. Cool, that works. That's a wonderful, yay, that one's good. Woohoo. So why? Why? Connect host port file, presumably. Okay, got some hunches. Got some hunches. I'll probably call it a day in like 20 minutes as well. So let's see if we can get this to a good point. I will find a way around this at some point. I'm not happy with that. It works fine. It's not buggy or anything. It's just not nice. I just don't like it. And I think some careful reordering, like I bet stuff like eval, like it probably doesn't depend on anything else. Depends on with con or warn. Oof. Where do I call eval? Requiring this? Oh, this is not good at all. Yeah, this nested thing, there's going to be all sorts of shenanigans going on here. Oh, I don't like that. This could loop forever. It could loop forever. How do I get around it? This is kind of why I didn't tackle this issue. It's just, it's so big. It's really cool if I get it to work, but I don't want to do it at the expense of making everything overly complicated and broken. So connect port file. This is where the double one's coming in, I think. If I could do connect port file and say, hey, yeah, connect port file, but don't double connect. Okay. After this spike, I'm beginning to feel like it's not so bad going in here and saying connect if, well, attempt connect if no connection, something like that, and putting it on everything I'm interested in, and having that just silently fail if it can't get anything. It's another thing that kind of tries to connect and fails. The downside to that would be I have to go and put it in everywhere that I care about it, so every user action would have to do that. And it would essentially be a silent connect port file. Oh, shall I do it? I feel like it's better. I don't like the changes I've made. I feel like it's overcomplicated things. So I'd have to do it for view source. Clone current session? Would you do it for sessions? Maybe just do it for eval, you know? Previous session. Cycle sessions. I kind of don't like where I put it. Out subscribe, out unsubscribe completions. I think I'll just sprinkle it into some places that are common routes. Like common user initiated things. I might do it. I might do it. So all this diff. All this hacking. A lot of this is just compiled Lua output, to be honest. So I'm not too worried about that. Okay, stash. Clean. Make. Back to a working state. And now we go to REPL action. And we do connect port file, which takes ops now. And you say when ops, actually, a.get ops. If I use my aniseed a.get, this is a lot safer than Lua's built-in one. So it'll actually like handle nils and all that sort of thing. And I have a convention of using silent arguments all over the place. Connect port file. So then I have another function, which is... I think I prefer this. I know it's fiddly and I've got to go tell... I've got to put in a few functions. It's not a single point, which doesn't feel as elegant. But the clever, elegant one is invalidating so many assumptions and things that like made me choose where to put things. It's suddenly flipping a lot of stuff on its head, and it's making something that's quite deep down suddenly have high level UX embedded in it, and I think that's where the problems occur. Yeah, I think that's it. It's a low level function that is used like deep within the server code for safely getting the current connection. That would then have some UX in it that would imply more calls of itself. And the UX should remain in the higher level ones. So in it, like this should do, this kind of sets up all the plugging between stuff. So all the mappings and all that sort of thing. Action is the one where UX stuff should really be worried about. Okay, I'm convincing myself that this is okay. So it's going to be a private function because I can do that. And it's going to be attempt connect port file. Should it be attempt? Ensure connection? Try ensure connection? Try ensure con? Yeah. Yeah, let's go with that. Then what's it going to do? It's going to say, I think there's with con or warn. So, well, I know there's with con or warn. With con or warn has an else. So I'm going to go through this route just because I probably should. So it's going to be server.with con or warn. It's kind of unnecessary, but silent true else fun And if you have a connection, what's it going to do? It's going to do nothing, right? If you get a connection, do nothing. If you don't have a connection, connect host, connect port file silent true. Right? Yeah. You know what? You know what? That could be that. Let's make it an anonymous function. So you get this try ensure con. And now I have the fun bit of adding this wherever I care about it. Which, yes, it's manual, but it's safer, you know? It's like, wow, it's really suddenly cooling down in my room. Ow! And I just shattered my kneecap. Yeah, I think it's more intentional. So I've got to copy and paste some stuff around, but it's more intentional, it's safer, and I kind of prefer that. I prefer a smidgen of copy and paste over something magic that causes bugs down the line because I tried to get too clever and ended up making a mess that I no longer want to touch. So connect host port, eval callback fun, not that. Eval string, definitely that one. So, I forgot what it's called already. Catchy name. Try ensure con. So if I call that, no REPL port file found. Oh. Huh. Derp. Is there really no port file running? There is. Huh. Oh, I just broke that, didn't I? What was this? Get diff. It's an if. I turned it into an if and a when. Is there no port file? Huh. Oh, because I'm in the wrong language. Don't worry, I can't explain it, but I can understand it. And I understand it because I wrote it. And yeah. Okay, so we got connect port file is happening here. Connect host port. Oh, if you do connect host port and don't give it that, it does that. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? I guess if you do Conjure connect, I keep doing it. Sandbox. Let's go into this one. Disconnect. Conjure. If you do Conjure, also got this nice pop-up. Look at that. Look how pretty it is. So if you do Conjure connect without any arguments, it tries to connect to a file. Clever old me, eh? Right, grab that. With info, don't care about. Could put it in there. Nah, let's not do that. With info, Java info to lines. Oh, this is a fun hack. This turns some Java related output into just some text that I can print. So when you ask for a doc string, I'm going to try and connect. When you try and go to a definition of a string, I'm going to try and connect. When you try to eval a file, I'll try and connect. When you interrupt, go on then. When you eval stir fun, should probably do it here too, because these are like, yeah, these are like some different evaluation things. Although Conjure eval eventually goes through to Conjure eval string. Yep, that actually goes through to eval stir, so I don't need to do that there. Oh, these all do. Oh. 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 Oh no, they don't. Only that one. Okay, when you try and view source, ignore me. I got excited. So try ensure con. Oh, that did work that time. Well, I'm thoroughly confused by that one. Clone current session. Oops. Oh yeah, when I evaluate stuff, it actually puts the result in my clipboard. So if I do that, oh no, let's pick a better one. If I do that, I can then paste that result, which is kind of neat. By default, it goes into the C register, but I changed mine so it went into my system one, I think. So I think if I, no, not my system one. It goes into my default register of Vim. What was it doing? I've had a long day because I keep getting distracted by random things. Clone current session. Yeah. Clone fresh session. Yeah. Oh, what does this one do? Served up clones. Okay. I'm going to put them in all of these, in every one of these user actions, and I'll remove them at some point if I need to. Display sessions. I feel like all of these could be useful. I like, part of me is grossed out by the fact that I have to do this, and part of me is like, meh. It's pretty simple. This one is, cycle session is called by these two, so I'm fine with that for next and previous session. And for that, I use my little linked list library that I made, so it creates infinite looping lists of things, which is kind of nice. Select session interactive. Yep, that's one where you go comma ss, clone a session, comma ss, and it comes up and it says which session would you like? You say 2, and it takes you to there. Run all tests. Go on. Run current NS tests. Run alternative tests. These can both run through here as well. Run current test. Some of this could potentially, some of this might be duplicates, but I think that's okay. Because I think if I call this and it doesn't actually do anything, like if it can't find a file, it just says nil and it doesn't actually print anything. So it's okay to call this a lot. Hopefully I won't get into race conditions, but we'll see. So refresh change, refresh all, both call refresh impl with different arguments. Give me that. Oop. Put that in there. So put that in there. Refresh clear. Actually no, let's put more in here. Because clear is different. And I'd rather they look the same. Shadow select. Piggyback. I could very easily get scenarios where I add a feature and forget to do this, but it's not the end of the world. The massively simpler code is far more beneficial than making this feature like a one-line implemented thing, in my opinion. So we've got piggyback. Still evaluating, which is nice. Hasn't crashed yet. I think we've thrown away more code tonight than I've actually written, but it's fine. It happens. Extract completion context. Is this even... I had a feeling this wasn't working, actually. Let me try and prove it. This is the thing that means, like, if you're in a let block, it knows that something is defined. So let's say let this is my thing. Now I go in here and I say this. Oh, it is. Oh, yeah. It's that L. When it picks it up, that L means it's a local, so it knows it's locally defined, and that all comes from this form, which is doing some interesting things to splice in the word prefix to the string, which is this outermost form. So every key you press, every time you type, it grabs the outermost form and splices in some things where your cursor is, and then the completion library uses that to analyze the code and work out like what's available to you right now. So when I do A, it knows that A is a local, and you got all these other ones, which is fun. There's some clever stuff in there. This we had to turn off actually, because there's a bug in. Oh, I can't remember where it was in. Might be in suitable. Or Shadow COGS? I think Shadow COGS changed and it broke Suitable's advanced completion, which is a shame because it let you say you could complete stuff like the window object in the browser. So I could be in Neovim and I could be in a ClojureScript file and I could be like js/window dot, and it would just show me everything that was currently in the window in my browser live. So it talked to my browser and said, hey, what's in the window object? And that is so useful. But somehow it got broken, and now I've had to turn it off downstream. But hopefully it'll get fixed one day, and I'll turn it on by default. Oh, it is on by default. I guess you have to go turn it off. Or I turned it on. Who knows? Whenever you do completions, do I want to do it as well? Do I want to try and connect? I don't think so. I don't think this is the benefit of it. I can say like the benefit of me. Oh, what am I doing? The benefit of me saying I get to choose where and when I put this is that I don't want it for completions. Out subscribe, yeah, whatever. It's fine. So now, if let's go from scratch. I like closing Neovim, reopening it to make sure there's no state that I'm relying on. There's no like hidden thing that I evaluated earlier that I'm using. Let's go to Sandbox. It connects automatically, as we expect, because it does that. Whenever you open up a new file, or whenever you open a closure file for the first time, the closure client of Conjure will try and connect, just because that's what it does. It just tries to connect. So we've got a connection. This is great. We've got like auto completion. Everything works. Wonderful. Now the question is, if I disconnect, the moment of truth. Let's get rid of all that. So we've got an empty log, no connection. It works. It works. Oh my god. So if I disconnect and I say, hey, give me the docs of that, I didn't even have a connection and it worked. So now it's just like relentlessly trying to connect. It is it is not going to give you a chance not to try and connect now, for better or worse. Can I go to definition? Hey, I can. And again, should we try it like without a connection? So I have no connection right now. I am not connected. If I list connections, it connects. If I go to definition, that doesn't work. Oh, because the info, so I have to send, basically the capabilities of the server hadn't been loaded yet. That's asynchronous. So like, when you connect, I send a message and say, hey, REPL server, what can you do? Which I showed earlier. And then REPL eventually responds and it says, hey, I can do all these things, including the info op, which is what I need to go and jump you to the definition. So now it's come back. See, I can do it now. I think that's okay. I think that's okay. I mean, I could... How about this? How about this as a start? How about this? I restrict this stuff to only user-initiated evaluations. So like when a user has said, I want to run some code. Everything else, it goes, hey, you haven't got a connection. I don't know whether I like it. I'm like on the fence. Because it would mean that it's only when the user says run this code, because when you say out unsubscribe or run my tests, yes, and piggyback even, yes, you are sending code, but you don't know it. You're just saying, hey, do the piggyback. And then Conjure ends up sending code under the hood. But you are not actively saying, I wish to send code to NREPL. All you care about is piggyback. So would that be okay to say, no, you don't have a connection? I think it's jarring to make some actions do it and some actions not, personally. So let's do this. Let's do it like this. The question is, should I do that for Janet as well? Because I could. Server connect ops. Yeah, this server connect thing, I could do that for Janet as well. Maybe I'll think about that. I'll think about that for a sec. But for now, the only changes here are connect port file, take some options. You can tell it to be quiet. You can do try ensure con, which will try to ensure a connection if there isn't one, silently. The other thing I want to test, obviously, is let's kill my REPL server somehow. Go into the sandbox. No REPL port found. Ah, perfect. That works exactly as I've wanted. Yeah. So if there is no connection and it can't find a connection, it's still like I just can't do it. Like, there isn't one. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. And then, let's bring up the server. And there's a slight delay there, but I'm okay with that. This is quite an edge case. That would have to be a fresh server that you just started, and then you evaluated, and you had to evaluate the namespace form, I think? And you had to evaluate it before Conjure finished doing something else in the background. I'm okay with that as an edge case. There's some things where I'm just like, it's rare, and if you try it again, it will be fine. And the only way I can prevent this is by blocking all of your actions. I would rather let your actions come through in ways that, like, let the odd small thing fail quietly. And you're just like, oh, that's weird. Like, you could just hit the odd timing thing, but it won't break it. It will all work fine. It's just you beat Conjure to something. Because I don't want to block your system. I don't want to say, I'm going to block your inputs and sit here frozen while I go and do something in the background. Okay, now you can eval. I'd rather let you do it because sometimes it will be fine. It's just sometimes you hit something that doesn't work until Conjure's done. That's wonderful. That's nice. Let's commit it. Let's just make sure this is all compiled. How big was the change? It's like 448 lines of diff, but it's not actually that much code. And look at the Lua it compiles to. That's so cute. It's so small. Hey. Closure plus NREPL auto connects on user actions with an exclamation mark, and we'll push that, and I will drag that across to done, because it does need releasing. Oh, I pushed things? What have I pushed? Don't call onload if in diff mode. Oh, okay, yeah. Fair enough. Cool. Very quickly, because I do have to go for calls in a second for my work calls. Let's see if I can look at the Janet one. So Janet NetREPL Sandbox. So you see how it tries to connect as well. It's similar to the closure one. It's like, oh, I tried to connect, but I got nothing. So let's kill this one. /dev Janet. Let's try and do this in record timing with the same idea. This is the only problem with these clients, that you've got to kind of cool, that works. You've got to implement the same thing twice a lot of the time, or thrice. But sometimes certain things don't make sense for certain clients, so that's kind of okay, I think. So we've got this. I can eval things. Wonderful. We're in Janet now. We're not in Closure, we're in Janet. So you can even see the comments are different, right? Like there's hashes instead of semicolons. And all of that is built into Conjure. Like how Conjure clients work. It's like you define how comments work. And then Conjure's like, okay, I know how comments work in this one now. But all of this framework of I'm evaluating the current form and here's the code is all shared. So all of this stuff is all shared, which is pretty handy. There's a lot shared and there's a lot of things that are not. You gotta draw the line somewhere. So if I, oh, come on, hands. Let's go to Janet server. Or Janet init, maybe? Yeah. So there's eval str, eval file, connect, which is server connect. Server connect presumably is the thing that prints. It has opts. Are they not used yet? They're not used. When not, very similar code, yeah. When not get ops. Opts. My brain is beginning to just like slow down. I've had a long day of sitting in front of this computer. Luckily I have an ergonomic keyboard, otherwise my hands would have fallen off. So when not silent, then append that. Okay, it's not used right now, but that's fine. That's fine. And now I can actually provide those ops. Oh, those ops are passed through. Oh. Oh. Huh. Cool. Cool. Put this up here. You can see my config system in action there as well. So connect can move. Look how much simpler this is than the closure one. Like the Janet one is just so simple. This is how simple a Conjure client can be. I mean, there's stuff in here, there's stuff in the server, but it's 82 lines, and that's a full server client implementation. Yes, my client implementation is in the server module, but this is a full implementation of like how to talk to a Janet server in a bit of Fennel. There's some transport code here. To be fair, this is probably the biggest bit. This I had to write all this. Like this is actually like the implementation of Janet's net REPL protocol in Fennel, and it isn't that complex. It was pretty easy. So between these three files, you have a full client, and I'm hoping that will be the same or similar for Common Lisp and Racket and all those things. And if anything shares nREPL, I'll extract the nREPL code out as well. But this is all the code there is to the actual UX, which is nice. So we've connect. Connect can take this. What was my closure actions one called? It was called try ensure con. So how do I know when I have a connection? Try ensure con. This is going to do a connect silent true. What happens if you do this when you're already connected? I disconnect you and then connects you, so I don't want to do that. I want to know when I have a connection. When do I have a connection? There's a with con or warn. Of course. With con or warn. So this is going to be try ensure con here, here, here. Yeah, that'll do. I could have called it attempt ensure con, I guess. Doesn't really matter. I've got 10 minutes until my stand-up. Let's see if I can finish this. Come on, brain. Come on. Let's make this bigger so I can think bigger. Try and choke on. Private function calls connect to silent true. Connect calls through to server connect with the ops. It's pretty unnecessary, but fine, whatever, indirection. I only want to do this if there isn't already a connection with con or warn. I kind of want to. I want to do this again when else. It's that again, isn't it? When I have an else, do the else. I can't remember which way around it was before, but I'll do it this way. In the closure one. And then this I need to open up. Server.with con or warn. You take an empty function. When you're successful, do nothing. When you're successful, do nothing. That's deep. Con. Oh. Silent true, else. This is basically the same code as before, right? But the fact that I have the choice to do it differently is nice. Now, Janet sandbox, disconnect, evaluate a file. Interesting, it actually like unknown symbol Conjure while compiling REPL. Some weird stuff happened there, didn't it? I think there's some async stuff that I'm not so happy with. Oh, that's weird. Ends up getting printed like that. Huh. Huh. I think I might instead. What's simpler? This is simpler. Oh, this is better. Yeah. And I'm gonna leave in 5 minutes. Less than 5 minutes. Sadly, there's no nice way to turn this into a boolean. So you have to do that, which makes me feel bad. When not server.connected, I might do the same with the closure one, to be honest. Janet sandbox. Disconnect, load the file. So it still goes through that same issue. So I might have to leave this until another day. But that's almost working. That's almost working. Well, yeah. Let's wrap that up. That was fun. I hope that was interesting. Even if it was long and rambly and all over the place. Feel free to send me messages somewhere if you've got some questions about this. I will finish off the Janet one soon, but the closure changes where it automatically connects are now on develop, and I will release those soon. Thank you very much. See you later. Have a good night. Bye-bye.